Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. I'm Tall Mike. Monday, stock market's open. We got September 20th. We got some excitement going on in the market. Dow Jones down about 500, NASDAQ down about 300 right out of the gate. Just dropped. What happened? Well, Evergrande, that's a big China developer, right? They're going to default on their bonds. Well, not for sure, but well, let's talk about this a little bit. What is Evergrande? Evergrande is it's a Chinese developer, a great big one. They got about $300 billion in bonds that might not be worth anything. Those have already crashed about 80%. Now, these were junk bonds. What are junk bonds? Well, they're bonds that probably aren't going to get paid back. Some of these were paying up to 12% interest, but when it's too good to be true, maybe it's just not going to happen. So this is crashing the market about 500 points. Now, some people are happy about that. Some people not so happy about that. I'm actually one that's happy about that. Why? Well, I'm not in the market. I'm not long. And I took my short positions off today, right? It's time to take them off. We're down about 5%. Now, do I think we got farther to go? I do think we got farther to go. I do. I think we can get down to about 10% down on the S&P, 10% down on the NASDAQ. Okay, so what else? Today I was a little bit disappointed. I was a little bit disappointed because I wanted some things to come in more. I wanted the gold market to drop more. I wanted silver to drop more. Those are both up today. I wanted the miners to come in. I wanted to add to my positions. The things I wanted to drop didn't really drop. But I'm looking to buy here. I'm not short anymore. I would not short the market from this point. Look at the Federal Reserve. They can come in and they can buy this market up. They can make this market close up by the end of the day. It's possible. Do I think we have more downside? I do. You see what happened with Evergrande. All right. Let's compare it to the U.S. All right. Let's say that, for example, our home builders are like Toll Brothers, Lennar, Poultry Homes. Anyways, if one of them went down hard and just imploded, I'm telling you, there'll be another one. And I think that's going to be the case for China. I think this is just the start for them. This one's going to implode. Now, they're going to pump the money in. They're going to pump billions of dollars in to try to make it go up, right? And then that's what we do here in the U.S. We bail companies out. So they're going to try to bail them out. And maybe they do. But there's probably another one that's going to drop. It's called the next shoe to drop. I think there will be a bigger pullback. I think the market will come in more, but I do think we'll bounce from here. And I'm starting to look for things to buy. Now, I'm not finding a lot to buy. I'm really not yet. But however, if you notice, this is interesting. Okay, so like the stock indexes, the NASDAQ, the S&P, they're down about, 4 or 5% each, right? But within those S&P 500, there's about half the stocks are in a bear market already. About half the stocks are over, they're down over 20%. What's holding the market up? Well, the big ones, the Facebook, the Apples, the Googles, the Netflix, these are holding the market up because they have so much power, so much influence as far their market caps are huge. But the smaller companies, they're just dropping pretty quick. They're already in a bear market. But I'm looking for things to buy. Now, what did I do today? I actually this is just a minor trade. I don't even know if I'd recommend. This is what I did. I bought some calls on Visa right when the market opened. And those are already moving up. I may take those off by the end of the day. We'll see. Okay, right? We don't know what those are going to do by the end of the day. But anyways, I bought some calls on Visa. The other thing I want to talk about before I move on here is basically junk bonds. Now, it's interesting, okay? So Evergrande had a lot of junk bonds paying up to 12% interest. Where are you going to get 12% interest on your money? Well, apparently not from Evergrande because they're going to default on those. But junk bonds are bonds. In the U.S., we call them zombie companies. At least that's what I call them. A zombie company is a company that, they don't even bring in enough cash flow to pay their interest on their bonds. So if you own these corporate debt, the junk bonds, they have to borrow money to pay you. Now, if they can't borrow the money, you're not going to get paid. That's what a junk bond is. Now, normally about 2% of the S&P 500 would be what's known as zombie companies. But right now, we're running about 20%, 10 times higher than normal, right? 10 times higher than normal. So these zombie companies, they're not going to be able to pay you if they can't borrow the money from somewhere else. This is called junk bonds. Now, junk bonds, there's an ETF for it. It's called HYG. HYG. Now, this is an ETF. They actually call it, what do they call it? Something like high dividend paying bonds. Okay, it's junk bonds. It's companies that probably aren't going to pay. So this is down today. This just dropped down hard. But what did bonds do overall? What did the 10-year do? Well, the bonds went up today, but not the junk bonds. Not the junk bonds. People are getting nervous. Now, I do watch the HYG. I watch this regularly, and I watch it going down. This is going to lead the market down. This is the telltale. Look, if this continues to drop, the stock market is going to follow. Watch the HYG. Don't buy the HYG. Goodness, it's going down. Back in the crash of 2000, I think this dropped 50%. I mean, HYG, but it leads the market lower. It's a leading indicator. If it starts to drop, the market's going to fall with it. And these junk bonds, they're not going to pay you back. They can't. They don't bring in enough cash flow. They do not bring in enough money. Now, okay, so let's move on. Let's move on to what else did I do today? Well, what else I did today is I bought the URA. Now, this is a uranium ETF. Now, uranium, it's in this short squeeze right now. It's like a GameStop, or it's getting squeezed right now. I mean, okay, so here's what's going on. Here's what's going on. Rick Rule, he runs these. It's called the Sprott ETFs. Okay, so Rick Rule is trying to put in this short squeeze on uranium, and uranium's not that big of a market. But what he did, he went out and he bought $200 million of uranium. And now here's the thing: he's not done buying. He's not done. He was going to probably buy another billion with a B, another $1 billion of uranium. And this is causing this short squeeze, right? Okay, so the URA is a uranium ETF. Okay, so it went from $17 just a month ago up to $29, right? It just, the short squeeze just pushed this up. I mean, uranium's been doing nothing but coming down. It's been dead for years and years, but there is new life in uranium right now. Okay, so it went from $17 to $29. Okay, now that's a $12 move, $17 to $29. Now here's a tip for you. Where I like to get in is on a 50% retracement of the big move. Okay, so it was at $17, went to $29. That $12 move. So half of that is $6. All right, so you take the $12 move, divide by 2, you got $6. All right, so we subtract the $6 from the high. That's at $29 minus the $6. Where's a good place to get in? $23. Now I got in at 23 and change, something like $23.70 today. Okay, that's where I bought into this. Now this is something I've traded in and out of, and I like to trade it. It's just uranium. I'd stack uranium, but you can't. Don't do it. Anyway, that was a joke. Anyways, I bought in at $23 and change today. I think that's a good entry point. Now, could it come in more? Sure. But that came down 10% today. So that's one that I am happy about that it came in. That's one that I am happy about. Now, one last thing I want to talk about today is, okay, so we talked last week about the insider trading with the Fed presidents. Well, guess who else is doing it? Jerome Powell, the Fed chairman's doing insider trading. Now, is anything going to happen to him? No, of course not. He can break the law all he wants. Heck, the Federal Reserve breaks the law every day. But, I mean, he's out there buying securities. He's front-running himself. He is front-running himself. He buys the security, then the Fed comes in, buys the security, it goes up. He makes makes millions of dollars. I mean, this guy's worth like $100 million, I think, but he's making millions of dollars front running the Fed because he knows what he's going to do. Look, this is criminal stuff going on. Now, maybe this is a time where the Fed gets in trouble. Maybe we should just end the Fed. I believe in that. I believe in that wholeheartedly. We have to end the Fed. It's got to happen, right? And now might be a good time to end them. They are doing criminal activity. They're insider trading. It's crazy what's going on. Now, another thing. Okay. Now, here's one thing I think that the Fed should be required to do. Okay, anyone that sits on the board as a Fed chairman or Fed president, they should be required to have all their money in cash, all in cash. That way they won't devalue your cash. They devalue your cash to make their assets go up, and they're doing it by insider trading, by front running themselves. But hey, they're going to investigate. They're going to start an investigation. That's right. The Federal Reserve is going to investigate themselves. Now, doesn't that make sense? Well, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard. Do you know the Federal Reserve, they don't get audited? They've never been audited. No one has ever done an audit of the Federal Reserve. Isn't that crazy? I mean, they run our whole country. They control us, but they've never been audited. You don't know. They say they have $8.5 trillion on their books. That's just the books they're showing you because they probably have another set of books that aren't audited. Look, someone's got to get in there and audit the Fed. Now, Ron Paul, he tried this years ago, but they got shut down hard, right? Right now, George Gammon, props to George Gammon, he's out there suing the Fed, right? He's suing the Fed to be audited. We got to audit the Fed because they are just raping the country, and plus they're just making millions of dollars for themselves by front running their trades. This should be banned. This should be illegal. We should end the Fed. This is our opportunity. Get behind this movement to end the Fed. They're bad for us. They're not doing us any favors. No. No favors. Well, anyways, if you guys like this stuff, give me the thumbs up. If you really like it, punch that subscribe button so we can talk more later in the week. Look, we're down 500 points on the Dow, 300 on the NASDAQ. Oh, by the end of the day, maybe the Fed comes in and buys some trades. Maybe they do some trading and pumps the market back to record highs. We'll see. I was hoping for a bigger pullback, but I'll take the 500 points. And I'm starting to look for a couple things to buy off of this bounce. It's going to come, but I do think there's potential to get that 10% down. We're down about 5% right now. I really want to see 10% down. I just don't know if the Fed's going to allow it at this point. We'll talk again soon. Get out there. Have a great Monday. I'm Tall Mike. I rambled a little bit today. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye now.